A very good morning to all the students of class ninth to the online classes here. And I hope and pray that all of you are fit, healthy and happy at your homes. As your summer break must has been refreshing to make a fresh start now, and it's time to get back to the track and start studying sincerely. So first of all, now let's start and take a quick glimpse of what are the topics which we had covered so far before your summer break. So, as you know, we were doing the first chapter of your history book, and the name of the chapter is French Revolution. And we had already finished 5 parts of this particular chapter before your summer break. And today we will be doing this part number 6. And the topic we will cover in this is France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. So, here we will discuss the meaning of republic also, and to connect with this particular topic that France abolishes monarchy and it became a republic. Well, let's take a quick revision and a glimpse of the topic which we had covered earlier to this part. That is, we'll see what we had done in the part 5 so that we can connect that topic with this particular topic. Okay. So this was a topic which we had covered before the summer vacation. This was your last topic which we had seen, that was part 5, and the topic was France became a constitutional monarchy. So here I told you the meaning of constitutional monarchy. The king was already there, but his powers were limited by the constitution. Now the powers and functions were distributed between the various organs like legislature, executive and judiciary, and in this way the powers of the king were restricted or limited to some part. So the National Assembly had completed and drafted the constitution by 1791. So by 1791 they had completed the framing of the constitution, and according to that constitution they had limited the powers of the monarch, that is the king. Louis XVI's powers were limited. This power, instead of being concentrated in one hand or one person, were now separated and assigned to different institutions like legislature, executive and judiciary. Now there were various different functions of these bodies, legislature, executive and judiciary, and you have been studying these terms from the very junior classes. This made France a constitutional monarchy. So in this way France became a constitutional monarchy now because of the new constitution where the powers of the kings or the monarch were restricted. So this was a system which I had discussed. Here we started the before explaining this chart. This was the functioning of the constitutional monarchy or the new system according to the constitution. I told you the meaning of active citizens and passive citizens, and how active citizens were important and they voted for those 50,000 electorals, and these 50,000 electorals elected the National Assembly, and the total members were 745 who controlled the king as well as the ministers, and judges were also voted and or we can say elected by these people who were called the active citizens. So this was the new chart which I had explained. So now in this part, that is part 6, we have to understand France abolishes monarchy, but now they completely abolished monarchy system. It means now no more that was a constitutional monarchy. They completely abolished monarchy system, and that France became a republic. So we'll see what were the circumstances and what were the causes and the consequences of this abolition of monarchy. Okay, so we'll take a reading from your NCERT book, and it's in the very easy language. You can also go through it, you will be able to understand. As we had studied, faced with the revolting subjects and protest and turmoil all around in France, Louis XVI was forced, and he accepted and gave recognition to the National Assembly and also to the Constitution in 1791. So in relation to that, it's written here, although Louis XVI had signed the constitution, he had signed the constitution under some important circumstances where revolting subjects were going out of control. So he had to sign that constitution through which his powers were limited. He entered into, but along with that he had signed the constitution because of the poor circumstances in France, but he entered into a secret negotiations with the king of Persia. So he came into a secret negotiations and planning with the help of the neighboring countries and the kings of those neighboring countries. For example, Persia. Rulers of other neighboring countries too were worried by the developments. So all the neighboring countries and the kings and the rulers of the neighboring countries, they saw the developments and protests and changes going on in France, how people were protesting against their king. So here neighboring countries were, we would say, they were worried that same fate could take place in their countries also, motivated by the people of France. So here they saw the developments in France and made plans to send troops to put down the events. So now various countries in Europe wanted to help Louis XVI as the king of France, because they didn't wanted to set an example for the people that yes, this monarchy can be overthrown. So they wanted Louis XVI to overtake the throne once again. So they sent their troops, the neighboring countries, to put down the events, and had been keen taking place since in summer 1789. So whatever events which were happening since summer 1789, the developments which were going on, protests which were going on, and as we have seen, National Assembly had emerged, new constitution was framed. So all these things, these neighboring countries wanted to end. So before this could happen, before the neighboring countries came into a secret plan with Louis XVI, and they wanted to attack France and settle down all the things like previously it used to be. Before that, the National Assembly came to new and they voted in April 1792. So they voted in April 1972 to declare war against Prussia and Austria. Austria, we know, the wife of Louis XVI was from Austria. So now before National Assembly was attacked, National Assembly attacked on these Prussia and Austria. Thousands of volunteers swarmed from the provinces to join the army. So now here we can see there was various important and strong sentiments and feeling of nationalism within the people of the France. So there were many volunteers who came out down from their provinces and joined the army. They saw this as a war of people against king. So the people of France saw that this was a war of people against king. So the common people were fighting a war against the kings or the aristocracies, the people or the nobles who are controlling the various administrative powers in Europe. So various countries and various kings, the war was against people all over the Europe now. Now the things were not limited up to France but all over Europe. Among the patriotic songs, so where, as we know, when there was a situation of war and there was a strong feeling and sentiments of nationalism within the common volunteers or the common people of France, there were various patriotic songs played and sung, and out of those one important was Marseillaise, which was composed by the poet. You have to remember the name of the poet. There can be a one mark question: who wrote and composed the song Marseillaise? The poet name was Roger de Isle. He sung for the first time by the volunteers from Marseilles. So this song was for the very first time sung by the volunteers or the people who were coming to join the France army were from Marseilles. This was a place, and the people from this place, they sung this song for the very first time. They marched into Paris. As they were moving to Paris, they were singing this song Marseillaise, and as you know, this Marseillaise is now the current national anthem of France. So if you look into the YouTube or any other information, Google it, you will find that national anthem of France is Marseillaise. So this is all about how things were proceeding. The revolutionary war, this revolutionary war means wars between the king and the people of the France, as many kings who had planned and they wanted to attack the National Assembly, and they wanted Louis XVI to take over France once again as a monarch. So here there were revolutionary wars brought loss and economic difficulties. There were a lot of losses and economic difficulties to the people, because all the males had gone out and joined the army to fight against the kings of the various neighboring countries. Okay, so while the men were away for fighting at the front, women were left to cope with the task of earning a living and look after their family. So it was now the sole responsibility of the women who looked after their family, who also earned the living or the livelihood of their families. So they looked after their families, food, shelter, everything, because the male of the family had gone outside for war. Large section of the population were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further. So large section of the people, the poor people, or we can say the third state people, as we had studied, France had three states: first state, second state, and third state. So the third state people, as they were the large section of population, they were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further, as constitution of 1791 gave political rights only to richer section. So if we talk about the new constitution which was completed by 1791, that gave political rights only to the people who were more prosperous, who were educated, who belonged to the higher societies. So as we had started seeing the condition in the fifth lecture, that only male or who were above 25 years and they paid taxes equal to the 3-day wages of a labor, only those people were allowed to vote. So here, when this revolution was going on, people wanted more revolutions, more changes, more revolutions to this. And the first change they wanted, that this, according to this constitution of 1971, there was political rights but only for the richer section of the society. But now they wanted that more and every people should be getting the opportunity to vote. So at this moment, at this time period of 1793 or 92, many political clubs became an important rallying point for people who wish to discuss various government policies were discussed in these political clubs. So there were formations and establishment of various political clubs, both by males and females, where various policies of government were discussed and various plans and actions were discussed. The most successful of these clubs was that of Jacobin. So you don't have to learn about any other club, you just have to remember a single name of a club which was the most popular and powerful club during this time, and its name was Jacobins. Okay, which got its name? It got its name from the convent of Saint Joachim in Paris. Women too who had been active throughout this period. Many women who were active throughout this period formed their own clubs. So women also formed their own clubs, but here we are not going to study about the women clubs. This we'll discuss in the section 4 of this the same chapter, and we'll talk about their activities and demands. But for the time being, we have to focus on this political club that's name is Jacobin. So let's see the detail of who are the members, who are the leaders, who are the people who made this political group, and how it became so influential, how it became so dominant that it started administration of the France. So here is the detail of the members of Jacobins club. The member of the Jacobin clubs belong mainly to the less prosperous sections of the society. Less prosperous section of the society means third estate. The people of the third estate who were less prosperous, they were uneducated, they were peasants, servants, okay, small shopkeepers, like it's written here. The people who belong to this Jacobin clubs, they included small shopkeepers, artisans such as shoemakers, pastry cooks, watchmakers, printers, as well as servants, daily wage workers, means laborers. All these people were a part of Jacobins. Their leader was, so important question is, the leader of Jacobin club was Maximilian Robespierre. You have to remember this name. He was the leader of Jacobin club, and mainly the people who belong to this Jacobin club were from the less prosperous society or the section of the society of France. The large group among the Jacobin decided to start wearing long. So the large number of people who are a part of Jacobin club, they started to form a dress code, and that dress code was, they started wearing long striped trousers. You can see the picture here. This is a picture of a member of a Jacobin. They started wearing a trousers like this, which had many colorful strips. Okay, this gave them an independent identity. Actually, they wanted that they should have a identity, independent identity, so they started wearing this type of uniform. Okay, long strip trousers similar to those worn by the dock workers, and this resembled the trousers of the people or the workers who worked on the dock workers. Workers are the people who works on the seaports. They do loading and unloading of goods. So the workers wear such dresses. It was similar to that. This was why they were wearing this type of trousers. This was to set themselves apart from the fashionable section of the society. They wanted to have their independent identity apart from fashionable section of the society, especially nobles. They wanted to look different from the nobles who wore knee breeches, because nobles used to wear knee breeches. Knee breeches are the long boots till here, till knee, they are tied up. till knee. The boots, these are the long boots. They are tied up with the laces very tightly up to these knees. Those are called knee breeches. But these members of the Jacobin clubs, they were not wearing knee breeches, because knee breeches were worn by the nobles and they wanted their independent identity. So they did not use the knee breeches. Okay. It was a way of proclaiming. Why they were not wearing knee breeches? Because it was a way of proclaiming the end of power wielded by the wearers of the knee breeches. Because the people, nobles who had the power, they wanted to end the power of the nobles. These Jacobins came to be known as sans clotos. So these Jacobins, members of the Jacobins who were wearing these trousers, stripped trousers, they were known as sans clotos. Sans clotos literally means those without knee breeches. The people who were wearing this type of trousers but without knee breeches, those were called sans clotos. So you must remember these terms. There can be a one word meaning that what do you understand by sans clotos. Sans clotos men wore in additional, and the men sans clotos, they also wore a red cap. Okay, you can see here also they are wearing a red cap. And what did this red cap denote? Symbolize liberty. The red cap means liberty. Now they were free, they had freedom. Women, however, were not allowed to do so. Women still till now were not allowed to wear this red cap and these breeches, because still there were not equality between males and females up to now. Now look at some of the activities performed by this group of Jacobins as they were becoming more influential and dominating in France. So in summer of 1792, in 1791, Constitution was framed, and in 1792, the Jacobins planned an insurrection of a large number of Parisians who were angered. Many people of the Paris, they were angered by the short supplies and high price. There were very short supplies of the food, and the food which was available at very high prices. So people were very angry, and the food was stocked in the various buildings of the king. So on the morning of August 10, these people stormed the palace of Toulouse, massacred the king's guard, they killed the king's guard, and the king himself a hostage. They brought king with themselves for several hours. Later, the assembly voted to imprison the royal family. The whole royal family was imprisoned, put into jail. Elections were held from now on all of men of. Now in new election, fresh elections were held according to Jacobins club, and the new change in the constitution was that now every male who was 21 years of age and above, regardless of wealth, got the right to vote. Now every person got the right to vote who was 21 years of age or above 21 years of age. It was not supposed to be seeing the wealth property of any person. So it means every person belonging to Jacobins clubs or any person belonging to less prosperous section of the society were allowed to vote now. So newly elected assembly. So now after the election, newly elected assembly was called convention. Now you have to remember this word, convention. And one more thing you have to remember, in the very beginning when there were a monarchy system, at that time the administrative group was called state journal, who used to take the administrative decisions. And then later on, when there was a constitutional monarchy, at that time administration was run by National Assembly, and now that National Assembly was replaced by convention under Jacobins, or we can say under Maximilian Robespierre as the leader of Jacobins club. So now National Assembly was replaced by convention, so you have to remember. So now new assembly was elected on 21st September 1792. It abolished the monarchy. Now monarchy was completely abolished from France. Till now, as I told you, there was a constitutional monarchy. It means the powers of the king were limited, but now there was no king. Monarchy was completely abolished and declared France a republic. And so Robespierre or the Jacobins club, they declared France as a republic. And meaning of the republic is, a republic is a form of a government where people elect the government. So republic means it is a country or it is an administration where the government members or the members of the government or the legislators are also elected by the people, and the head of the state, head of the country, head of the nation is also elected by the people. So when the government, including the head of the nation or the state, is elected by the people, it is called a republic. So France here now became republic, and the new government was called, or the elected assembly was called, convention. Before, the assembly was called general state, then it was called national assembly, and now it was called convention. Now Louis XVI was sentenced to death. Now Louis XVI was sentenced to death by the court on the charge of treason. Treason means betrayal of one's own country government. When we betray, we are not loyal to our country's government. On this charge, a charge was proved on Louis XVI, and he was punished. On 21st January 1793, he was executed publicly. He was executed at the Place de la Concorde. The Queen, Marie Antoinette, met with the same fate short after. As soon after the death or the punishment of Louis XVI, Queen Marie Antoinette also met the same fate. Okay. Now the next heading is the reign of terror. Reign doesn't mean reigning. This reign means a particular time period. If we talk about the time period of 1973 till 1793 to 1794, this complete 1 year is called the reign of terror. The people were so terrified by the strict behavior or the strict functioning and the strict method of Robespierre, Maximilien Robespierre. He was very strict in his policies and plans or his methods to administration. So this period till Robespierre was the leader of Jacobins or the convention, at that period is called reign of terror. Why it is called reign of terror? Let's discuss that. The period from 1793 till 1794 is referred to as the reign of terror. Robespierre followed a policy of, his policy was very severe control and punishment. Whatever he could not control, the people who did not follow his methods and his policies, they were punished severely. All those whom he saw as being enemies, whoever he saw, they were the enemies of the republic. A republic means the new convention government which came under the leadership of Robespierre, where people elected the government as well as the head of the government. So anyone who were the enemies of the republics, like ex-nobles, clergies, members of the other political parties, even the member of his own party who did not agree with his methods. So any person from the noble class, from the clergy class, from his own party, or from the third estate, from the more prosperous society, anyone who did not follow and agree to his methods, they were arrested, they were put into jail, they were imprisoned and tried by a revolutionary tribunal. It means they were charged by a case, and if the court found them guilty, they were guillotined. Okay, so those people who were found guilty, they were guillotined. What is guillotined? The guillotine is a device. It was a device through which these people who did not follow the instructions of the Robespierre or the leader of the Jacobins club, they were being punished by a machine or a device which is called guillotine device, consisting of two poles and a blade. Okay, like two poles. Here they placed a blade, a very sharp blade of iron, and here was a structure in this way where a neck of a person was put here, and this blade was dropped downwards, and this way the neck was cut off from the body. So like this, there was a so severe punishment for the people who did not follow the methods of Robespierre. That is why we are calling a period of reign of terror. People were really terrified. The guillotine is a device consisting of two poles and a blade with which a person is beheaded. People were beheaded with the help of this blade. It was named after the doctor, and this machine or the device was named after the inventor, and its inventor was Dr. Guillotine. So there are so many questions which can be asked for 1 or 2 marks. Okay, so you have to remember that. So we are studying the very harsh control and extreme administrative functions or in the methods of Robespierre. Okay, so now moving forward, Robespierre's government issued law placing a maximum ceiling on wages and prices. So now they had put all the limits that what will be the wages, what will be the prices of the goods, everything was fixed by the government. Meat and bread were rational. This meat and bread they were rationed means it was fixed. It was not the condition where rich could take as much as bread and meat he or she wanted, and poor and the less prosperous people were not able to get the same amount of meat and bread. It means it was based on the equality, where it was made compulsory that equal amount of meat and bread will be available to each person. Peasants were forced to transport. Here, the peasants were forced to transport their grains to the cities and sell it at a fixed price. So, it was made compulsory that peasants will have to transport the grains to the cities, and it will be sold to the government at the fixed prices by the government. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. Now, no one was allowed to use the more expensive flour. All citizens were required to eat the plain diglite. Diglite means equality bread. Now there was the equality bread. So Robespierre was trying to bring equality in the French society, as he belonged and his group belonged to the less prosperous section of the society, but his methods were too severe, where he was trying to control things very strictly. He invented a equality bread, a loaf made of whole wheat. Equality bread is it's a loaf made of whole wheat. Equality was also sought to be practiced through forms of speech and address. Like in the same way, he also tried to bring equality through. In the previously in France, traditionally the males were called monsieur, it means sir, and madame for madam. All French men and women were henceforth. But now, according to this convention government, all the males were known by the citoyen and citoyenne. Churches were shut down. All the churches were now shut down, as clergies were not treated as it used to be under monarchy system. And instead of those churches, the building were converted into barracks or offices. Various barracks for the armies and various government offices were opened in place of church buildings. But his this strong rules, regulation, administration could not last for long period, as Robespierre pursued his policies so relentlessly that even his supporters began to demand moderations. Now his supporters all wanted moderations, and they wanted to change the methods according to which they were being governed. They didn't wanted to move with the methods of Robespierre anymore. And finally, Robespierre was convicted by the court. There were various charges against him in the court, and finally he was convicted in July 1794. He was arrested, and the very next day he was also sent to guillotine. He also met with the same fate, and this device was again used to behead Robespierre also. With this, we come to the end of the reign of the terror, which was under Robespierre. Next topic is a directory rules France. Let's understand that. So after the reign of terror, after the conviction of Robespierre, Maximilien Robespierre, let's see what was the situation in France now. As we know, the power or the administration cannot be vacant for a long period of time. So there was a vacuum after the death of Robespierre. So now the fall of Jacobins government. Now it was the fall of Jacobins government means convention. This allowed the wealthier middle class. Now the wealthier middle class to seize power. Now they seized the power. This middle classes or the wealthier middle classes. A new constitution was introduced now, which denied the vote. Now the new constitution was framed, various changes were made in the constitution, and again the vote or the voting right was not given to the people who belong to the less prosperous section of the society or who did not own the property, as previously it used to be the situation. And Robespierre or the Jacobins clubs had given the permission and the right to vote to all the people who were above the age of 21. But now again, with the new constitution and with the wealthier middle class in power, they opposed and they stopped the voting power for the people who did not had property. It provided only two elected, and they had two elected legislative councils and then appointed a directory. These two elected legislative councils, they elected a directory. Directory means an executive made of 5 members. under Maximilian Robespierre or convention government, there was a single executive. It means Robespierre was the leader, but now they saw what can be the consequences of a single leader if we give power to a single leader of a government like Robespierre. So now they decided that we will have a directory, and this directory was elected by these legislative councils, and directory had 5 members. Okay, this was meant as a safeguard against the concentration of power in one man executive as under the Jacobins. So they didn't wanted the same situation to take place which had taken under Jacobins. So however, directory often clashed with the legislative council. So there was various clashes between directories or the directors, those 5 members, and the legislative councils who elected them. It means there was instability. If we talk about the government, if we talk about the political system, it was not stable at all. The political instability of the directory paved the way for the rise of military dictator. And when there will be an internal weakness, the others outside power gets the opportunity to enter and spread its rule. So at this moment, military dictator entered, and his name was Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, and he took over. Now instead of dictator or dictatorship rule, now military leader or the military dictator Napoleon Bonaparte took over France as a military leader. Through all these changes in the form of government, so continuously we can see there were this situation of revolution, changes, protest, where each section of the society of France was trying to prove themselves, and they wanted to end monarchy system. They wanted more freedom, more representation to the common people. They talked about justice, they talked about freedom, they talked about right to vote. So here, through all these changes, different forms of government came and went, but one thing is common: the idea of freedom, equality before the law, and for fraternity remained inspiring. But these ideas had always become and remained inspiring ideas, and which motivated political movements in France. So after that also there was various political movements in France, but all those movements were inspired by the idea of freedom, equality, justice, and fraternity. Okay, and also movement in France and the rest of the Europe, even its impact had we could see the impact of French Revolution in the other part of the Europe as well during the following century. So with this we come to the end part of the story of the French Revolution. In the further part of the chapters, we will be studying about the participation of the women, slavery system, and also I will give you some details about Napoleon Bonaparte. But if we talk about the story, the structure which we have to discuss, that we have discussed in this chapter. So in the further chapter, we will end this chapter with only 1 or 2 topics left. So I will be assigning you certain important questions based on these topics. You have to do that. Till then, thank you, and yes, must read the chapter from your NCERT book. Thank you. Take care.